Makarska is a small city on the Adriatic coastline of Croatia, about 60 kilometers southeast of Split and 140 kilometers northwest of Dubrovnik. It has a population of 13,834 residents. Administratively, Makarska has the status of a city and it is part of the Split-Dalmatia County. It is a tourist center, located on a horseshoe-shaped bay between the Biokovo Mountains and the Adriatic Sea. The city is noted for its palm-fringed promenade, where fashionable cafes, bars and boutiques overlook the pretty harbor where many pleasure craft are moored. Adjacent to the beach are several large-capacity hotels as well as a camping ground. The center of Makarska is an old town with narrow stone-paved streets, a main church square where there is a flower and fruit market, and a Franciscan monastery that houses a seashell collection featuring a giant clamshell. Makarska is the center of the Makarska Riviera, a popular tourist destination under the Biokovo mountain. It stretches for 60 kilometers between the towns of Brela and Gradic. Climate and vegetation. Makarska experiences a hot summer Mediterranean climate. Winters are warm and wet, while summers are hot and dry. Makarska is one of the warmest cities in Croatia. Vegetation is of the evergreen Mediterranean type, and subtropical flora grow in the city and its surroundings. History. Prehistory. Near present-day Makarska, there was a settlement as early as the middle of the 2nd millennium BC. It is thought that it was a point used by the Cretans on the way up to the Adriatic. However, it was only one of the ports with links with the wider Mediterranean, as shown by a copper tablet with Cretan and Egyptian systems of measurement. A similar tablet was found in the Egyptian pyramids. In the Illyrian era, this region was part of the broader alliance of tribes, led by the Ardeans, founded in the 3rd century BC in the Cetina area down to the river Vihose in present-day Albania. The Roman era. Although the Romans became rulers of the Adriatic by defeating the Ardii in 228, it took them 2 centuries to confirm the rule. The Romans sent the veteran soldiers to settle in Makarska, after the division of the empire in 395. This part of the Adriatic became part of the Eastern Roman Empire and many people fled to Makaram from the new wave of invaders. The city appears in the Tabula Peutingeriana as the port of Ionia, but is mentioned as Makaram, a larger settlement that grew up in the most inaccessible part of Biokovo mountain, probably at the very edge of the Roman civilization. It appears on the Acts of the Salonan Synod of the 4th of May 533 AD, held in Salona, when also the town's diocese was created. Early Middle Ages. During the migration period, in 548, Makaran was destroyed by the army of the Ostrogoth king Totila. The Byzantine emperor expelled the Eastern Goths. In the 7th century, the region between the Cetina and Neretva was occupied by the Narentines, with Mokro, located in today's Makarska, as its administrative center. The Doge of Venice Pietro I Candiano, whose Venetian fleet aimed to punish the piratesk activities of the city's vessels, was defeated here on September 18, 877 and had to pay tribute to the Narentines for the free passage of its ships on the Adriatic. Late Middle Ages. The principality was annexed to the Kingdom of Croatia in the 12th century, and was conquered by the Republic of Venice a century later, making use of the rivalry between the Croatian leaders and the power struggles. The Bosnian band Stupan Tuko Tromanik annexed the Makarska coastal area. There were many changes of rulers here, from the Croatian and Bosnian feudal lords, to those from Zahumlia. In the eventful 15th century, the Ottomans conquered the Balkans, in order to protect his territory from the Turks. Duke Stupan Vučić Kosača handed the region to the Venetians in 1452. The Makarska coastal area fell to the Turks in 1499. under the Turks. Under the Ottoman rule, the city was surrounded with walls that had 3 towers. The name Makarska was cited for the first time in a 1502 document telling how nuns from Makarska were permitted to repair their church. The Turks had links with all parts of the Adriatic via Makarska, and they therefore paid a great deal of attention to the maintenance of the port. In 1568 they built a fortress as defense against the Venetians. During Turkish rule, the seat of the administrative and judicial authority was in Foça, Mostar, for a short time in Makarska itself, and finally in Gabala on the river Neretva. During the Candian War between Venice and the Turks, the desire among the people of the area to be free of the Turks intensified, and in 1646 Venice recaptured the coastline. But a period of dual leadership lasted until 1684, until the danger of the Turks ended in 1699, once more under the Venetians. In 1695 Makarska became the seat of a bishopric and commercial activity came to life, but it was a neglected area and little attention was given to the education of its inhabitants. At the time when the people were fighting against the Turks, and Venice paid more attention to the people's demands. According to Alberto Fortis in his travel chronicles, Makarska was the only town in the coastal area, and the only Dalmatian town where there were absolutely no historical remains. After the fall of the Venetian Republic, it was given to the Austrians by the Treaty of Campo Formio. With the fall of Venice, the Austrian army entered Makarska and remained there until Napoleon took the upper hand. The French arrived in Makarska on the 8th of March 1806 and remained until 1813. This was an age of prosperity, cultural, social and economic development. Under French rule all the people were equal, and education laws written, for the first time in many centuries, in the Croatian language were passed. Schools were opened. Makarska was at this time a small town with about 1580 inhabitants. Under the Austrians, as in Dalmatia as a whole, the Austrian authorities imposed a policy of Italianization, and the official language was Italian. The Makarska representatives in the Dalmatian Assembly in Zadar and the Imperial Council in Vienna demanded the introduction of the Croatian language for use in public life, but the authorities steadfastly opposed the idea. One of the leaders of the National Party was Mihoval Pavlanović of Bajora. Makarska was one of the first communities to introduce the Croatian language. In the second half of the 19th century, Makarska experienced a great boom, and in 1900 it had about 1,800 inhabitants. It became a trading point for agricultural products, not only from the coastal area, but also from the hinterland, and had shipping links with Trieste, Rijeka and Split. The Congress of Vienna assigned Makarska to Austria-Hungary, under which it remained until 1918. The 20th century. In the early 20th century, agriculture, trade and fishing remained the mainstay of economy. In 1914, the first hotel was built, beginning the tourism tradition in the area. During World War II, Makarska was part of the independent state of Croatia. It was a port for the nation's navy and served as the headquarters of the Central Adriatic Naval Command, until it was moved to Split. After the war, Makarska experienced a period of growth, and a population triple. All the natural advantages of the region were used to create in Makarska one of the best-known tourist areas on the Croatian Adriatic. In 2007, exhumation of victims from World War II was still ongoing. Main sites: St. Mark's Cathedral in the main square. Statue of the Friar Andrea Kasic by the famous Croatian sculptor Ivan Rendic. St. Philip's Church. St. Peter's Church, situated on the SV. Peter Peninsula, rebuilt in 1993. The Franciscan monastery. It houses a library with numerous books and rare incunabulas and a famous, world-known collection of shells from all over the world, collected in a Malacological museum from 1963. Napoleon Monument, erected in the honor of the French Marshal Marmont in 1808. The Baroque Ivan Izvik Palace. Villa Tonoli, which is home to the town museum. Notable people: Giuseppe Adobati, Italian film actor; Andrea Kasic-Miosic, Croatian poet and monk; Alan Boksic, Croatian retired football player; Garry Kasparov, Russian chess grandmaster, born in Baku, Azerbaijan; Jure Bilic, Croatian and Yugoslav communist politician. Gallery.